Is there a cancer cluster in Wake County?
Someone needs to look at it and say, hey, we need to investigate this.
3 teens from the same graduating class at the same Wake County High School contracted an extremely rare cancer.
Statistically, it's unbelievable.
WRAL took those cases to the state for answers.
That seems, suspicious.
The medical mystery hardly anyone knows about until now.
It has to be a cluster. There's no other explanation for it.
WRAL Investigates, Monday at 5. WRAL Investigates. Watch and expect answers.
Now think about this for just a moment. If we told you there is a medical condition that strikes only about 250 people a year, it might not surprise you to find out that one of those patients lives here in the Triangle.
Finding 2 in the same county, that gets even a little harder to swallow, but 3 in the same town, and it starts to sound like more than just a coincidence.
Yet that is what we found, 3 confirmed cases of one rare cancer in teenagers who attended the same Wake County schools at the same time. Bruce Mildorf is here now with a WRAL investigation. Bruce?
Yeah, statistically, it is off the charts. The families were under the assumption this would be investigated, referred to the CDC. Well, WRAL learned there was no real investigation. The CDC knows nothing about it, and the families were left in the dark. Now, as a result of our story, we've learned of a change in state policy. A freshman at ECU, Carly O'Day has 2 wigs with her at school.
I just keep it in this box.
One in the box, the other on her head.
They told me my hair would start falling out after my first treatment.
Her last chemo treatment was in October 2011.
I was afraid she was going to die. I never told her that, but I thought she was going to die.
Carly was diagnosed during her senior year of high school with an extremely rare cancer called Ewing's sarcoma. About 250 people nationwide are diagnosed each year.
Very rare, very strange.
So it was incredibly strange when Alex Harris was diagnosed with the same disease a month and a half after Carly.
You have to go through that to really fully understand it.
Statistically, it's unbelievable.
Unbelievable because Alex and Carly were in the same graduating class.
I have Ewing sarcoma.
Zach Osborne makes 3 in that 2011 class at Wake Forest Rollsville High School. It's so rare, yet somehow 3 teens who grew up within a 3-mile radius of one another in Wake Forest got it. A 4th teen who lived less than a mile from Zach was diagnosed with Ewing's in 2009.
I'm thinking that there has to be something up.
Zach, Carly, and Alex also went to the same elementary and middle school.
This is Alex.
Flip 2 pages in their 9th grade yearbook. 4 students separate Carly from Zach.
We were the only class of Wake Forest Roseville to literally go to a different building every year of high school.
A classroom trailer freshman year is the only place they can remember where all 3 were essentially together over an extended period of time.
I actually sat beside Alex. It was literally back-to-back classes. I had one with Carly first and then one with Alex.
During their senior year, the 50-year-old building was undergoing renovations.
When we were walking to classes, we were walking through construction.
At this point, no one can answer what triggered the Ewing sarcoma in these 3 classmates, who were each treated at Duke University Hospital. Duke has a team designated to sarcoma research.
It's really hard to know when these genetic errors happen.
Ewing sarcoma is a childhood cancer found in the bone or soft tissue. It usually strikes between the ages of 10 and 20. Researchers understand little about it, but studies show it's not hereditary.
On average, 250 cases nationwide.
That is not a lot.
With 3 or 4 cases in one high school, statistically, seems abnormal. Does that raise questions?
I think that any sort of rational person would pause and say, that's unusual. This should be reported.
It's aggravating.
Alex's mom reported this phenomenon to their doctor at Duke, a sarcoma organization, and DHHS.
Someone needs to look at it and say, hey, we need to investigate this.
Currently, there is no investigation.
I've written to all these people and I get 0.
We discovered the information provided by Robin Harris made its way to the State Cancer Registry, a division of the Department of Health and Human Services. And while no one ever got back in touch with her, a paper trail indicates the same day the registry received her information, a statistician wrote up his findings.
And what did they find?
This case, we did not find an elevation compared to the state rates.
The memo states these cases were not concentrated in one area.
I was not involved in this case, so I can't really give you all the details on that.
Dr. Ricky Langley does not work for the Cancer Registry. An epidemiologist with the Division of Public Health, his group investigates cancer clusters by looking beyond the numbers.
Well, we work closely with the Cancer Registry, and once a problem is identified either from them or from us, we tend to share the information.
He admits there was no sharing of information in the case of this potential Ewing sarcoma cluster in Wake Forest.
From what you tell me, it seems pretty high, unusual, would warrant further investigation, I think.
Another issue, this was on no one's radar. There were no red flags until a concerned mother started waving one.
Sounds like there's a lot of cracks in the system, a flaw in the system.
Right. I mean, that's true. That's true.
The families impacted sure think so.
3 kids in the same graduating class having the same cancer, and no one is shocked at this.
It has to be a cluster because there's no other explanation for it.
Now, the Public Health Department relies on families to report suspected cancer clusters. State health officials tell me they investigate 12 to 15 potential clusters a year. Confirming one, they say, is very rare. Now, as far as the cases in Wake Forest, a DHHS spokeswoman told me it was an unfortunate oversight that no one got back to Robin Harris about her concerns. Late today, DHHS said that as a result of this incident, a new policy for tracking cancer cluster inquiries has been developed. David, Deborah?
Yeah, and Bruce, in the meantime, this is so rare, this specific type of cancer. Do you know of any other cases just in this area reported this year?
Interesting question, but because of HIPAA and privacy laws, you're really not allowed to tell anyone about it. And so the families are also hoping that because of this story, as a result of this story, other families may come forward. And to answer that question, we'll let you know in the days and weeks to come.
Are these young people going to be okay? Is this something that you can be cured of?
You can be cured. I mean, it is life-threatening, but if you catch it at the appropriate time, you can be cured. So Zach right now is still going through treatment. Alex is at UNC Wilmington, and Carly is at ECU, and both Carly and Alex are doing well.
It's an amazing story. Bruce, thank you.
Sure.
A WRAL investigation that struck a chord with thousands of you now has the state taking action.
Last week, we told you the story of 3 teenagers in the same senior class here in Wake County, all diagnosed with a form of cancer so rare, doctors only see a few hundred cases a year. At the time, the state said there was nothing to investigate.
Well, today, WRAL has learned the state has changed its mind. Bruce Mildworth spoke with the families today about this new development. Bruce?
Yeah, Dave, they're frustrated. The state did nothing for the past 6.5 months. The 3 teens diagnosed with this very rare disease grew up within a 3-mile radius of one another. And the families say it's about time the state tried to get to the bottom of this phenomenon, be it cluster or coincidence. Alex Harris just returned home to Wake Forest after his freshman year at UNC Wilmington. One of the first things on his schedule, a full day at Duke Hospital.
They're just going to be doing scans to make sure I'm still in remission and everything's still okay.
Alex is one of 3 teens from his 2011 graduating class at Wake Forest Rollsville, diagnosed with a very rare cancer called Ewing's sarcoma.
Statistically, it's off the charts.
Robin Harris, Alex's mom, shared her concerns with the state last year and never heard back. In a letter sent to Harris dated May 6th, 1 week after our WRAL investigation aired, the director of the State Cancer Registry said, "We agree the number of cases identified in the requester school is cause for additional inquiry."
It's been the difference, the total difference is this report.
The department investigating this issue says they're putting together a questionnaire with help from oncologists over at Duke Hospital that they'll then be sending to families impacted by this rare cancer.
We're at least getting something, which was a lot better than nothing before.
A DHHS spokesman provided this statement. Based on their answers and discussion with the patient's healthcare providers, we will decide next steps.
I want to see something happen, and I do think they will be trying because of the media attention.
It's been a painful road for Alex and his family. Now he just wants answers.
To know why that I had to go through all that, is there a reason, or was it just, by chance?
A state official said these investigations are a slow process that take time. You can be sure we will continue to stay on top of it. David?
We know you will. Bruce, thank you.